Hey guys, thank you for tuning into my first video. I'm basically just going to be talking my way through this entire thing, so if you're interested, then stay tuned. So usually what I do before every single time I do my makeup, I just kind of analyze my skin, see if there's any blemishes, any discoloration, which I do have a little bit on this particular day, and then I'll just go in with any kind of primer. This one is the Too Faced Hangover, and I don't really notice that it helps the longevity of my foundation, but I do notice that it helps moisturize, and because I have combination skin, I desperately need it. Then I'm going to take the Wet n Wild foundation. This is seriously the best $5 I've ever spent on a foundation. It is more medium coverage, but if you build it up with a second layer, it's pretty good. And I'm just applying it as needed. And I know it looks really pale right now, but I found that this foundation does oxidize on me a little bit, so give it about an hour after I apply it, and it'll make way more sense. And then I'm just going to buff that in with a Real Techniques beauty sponge. Any beauty sponge or brush will do. And you can see that it covers up my redness pretty well. Now I'm going to take the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I know you guys know what this is. And I'm just kind of applying it where I see is necessary to cover up whatever additional redness is left. Normally I don't use a lot of concealer, but I do like this stuff because it's not super cakey and it blends in really easily. And again, I know it looks super light, but just bear with me for now. And usually what I'll do is I'll take my finger and just kind of blend it into little crevices around my nose, just because sometimes that sponge doesn't always get it. And whatever product is left on the beauty sponge with that Shape Tape, I'll apply it right onto my lid just to kind of use as like a primer, if you will. Next, I'm going to use my Airspun powder, and I'm just going to put that all over the face with a big giant fluffy brush from Morphe. And I can tend to get a little heavy-handed with a powder, so I usually just kind of inhale it accidentally, which you will see right now. But the reason I go heavy-handed with the powder is because I do have combination skin again, and my T-zone gets really oily. So I'm just going to go ahead and set the under eyes, and I do make a few ugly faces, so I'm sorry. And I'm just going to brush off any excess around my face. So now for brows, I'll just kind of comb them through, see what I'm working with today. And I'm going to go ahead and take my Anastasia brow definer, comb them through again, and then I'm just going to kind of carve out the bottom and the top of the front of my brow. I usually don't go pretty heavy-handed on this, only because I like it to be a little bit more faded in the front, and then I want more of the drama in the tail of my brow. I'm pretty into more grungy, smoky looks, and because I do have black hair, I just kind of feel like more of a dramatic, darker brow just works for me. And then I'm just going to comb through them real quick. Now I'm taking my Anastasia Dipbrow in Ebony, and just with an angled brush, I'll carve out the bottom again. And this is where it gets really dramatic, but I do take my time with it. So from the arch to the tail of my brow is where I want the most depth and the most pigmentation. And I wanted them a little bit darker today, considering that I was going to do a little bit more of a smoky glam look. So I'm just going to proceed to fill them in, and then we'll just do the same thing on the other side. I get asked a lot how I do my eyebrows from friends and family and social media, so if you guys want more of an in-depth look later on, I can definitely do that for you. And with no additional product, again, I'm just going to comb through them, and you guys are going to see me throughout this video go back and forth, blending and blending through every single thing I do. And I do have sparse brows, so I'm just kind of going through any little spots I might have missed right here. And as you can see, there is a pretty big difference. And then same process on the other brow. I kind of cut it short, but you get the idea. And just kind of sharpen up the tail of my brow just a little bit. And the brows are done. So I'm going to take the Morphe 35F palette. Any neutral shadow palette will do, but I'm basically just going to kind of put a few neutrals throughout my crease and the lid area. I do take my shadows pretty high up. You don't have to, but this is just my personal preference because, again, I do like more of a smoky kind of grungy look. And another neutral from the palette. And all the products and the brushes and everything I will list down below in the description box, but this brush is from Morphe. And this is the same shade on my other eye. So now I'm going to go into the Lorac Pro 2 palette, and I'm going to use just another neutral color. I do like to really build my transition colors, so I'm just going to go back and forth with that shade on both eyes again. And this is a Wet n Wild blending brush. I got this for $1, and it works wonders. Now I'm going to go in with this forest green shade from the Lorac palette, and I'm just going to put it all over my lid. There is a little bit of fallout on this shade, so I'm just going to go over and over until I get the intensity and the buildability that I want. Sometimes, you know, when you are blending your shadows over and over again, you do kind of lose that intensity. So I'm just going to take the same shadow brush and just go over and over until I'm satisfied with the green. This doesn't have to be perfect because we are going to go back over with another green shade, so just kind of build it as you'd like, and then again just going in with another more kind of peachy transition shade, and I'm just trying to build that green in, that way it doesn't look too terribly harsh. I love this eyeshadow because it really does make my brown eyes pop. And this is kind of the first time I've ever really used this entire shade all over my eyes, and I actually really loved it. And then just building it up more and more, and as you can see, it tends to pop a lot more. So this is probably the third coat that I've put on, but it's not heavy, which is why I love these eyeshadows. And then I'm just going to go back in and blend it 100 more times. And then I'm going to take that same shade and I'm just going to run it underneath the eyes with a smudge brush. Then I'm going to take another blending brush and I'm just going to build it to the intensity that I want under the eyes. And same thing on the other eye. And that's pretty much it for that shade. So my favorite part, we're going to dip into that green shade from the Kat Von D Serpentina palette. And this is not Fix Plus, it's just the bottle, but there is water in there, and I'm just going to apply it. As you can see, I'm very excited. And this palette was limited edition, so good luck getting it. And then I'm just going to apply that all over the lid as much as I can. And then I'm going to take my finger and just run through that shade again. And I want it to be as intense as possible, which is why I'm using my finger once more. And then back with that blending brush with a little bit of green on it from that forest shade, I'm just blending that all together. And then just building that back up on the other eye. So now I'm going to take this little Marc Jacobs liner and I'm just going to put it in my waterline right there. And then I'm going to take this NYC liquid liner and I'm just going to do my wings really quick. They did discontinue this liner, so I've just been buying it off of Amazon in case anyone is interested. And again with the liner, I'm just building it up to the intensity that I want. Then I'm going to take my L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara. I'm not going to build it up too much because I am going to put on falsies, so I'm just kind of putting on as much as I desire. I do have hooded lids, so I do have to be careful when it comes to mascara, or else it will smudge and just ruin the entire look. And then I'm going to take this really frosty shade from that 35F palette again, and I'm just going to put it right on my brow bone there. So then I'm going to take this cute little black heart brush from Hot Topic, which was $7. And I'm just going to kind of wipe away the excess powder that was baked into my skin and any fallout. So now I'm going to take a little bit of Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter in Midnight Cowboy. And I'm just going to put that in the corners of my eyes just to kind of make it pop a little bit. And I think this green and gold actually went really well together. I tried not to go too heavy with the glitter because I didn't want it to take away from the green that I already applied on my lid earlier. Sometimes I'll look straight ahead into the mirror just to see, and then I'll just build it to the intensity that I want. And then I'm going to take this pack of lashes. They're kind of mismatched right now, but I'll take the Wispies from Ardell, and then I'll just pop those on really quick with some Duo Lash Glue. I do use the Duo Clear Lash Grip, just because it's non-scented and I feel like it works way better. Normally I don't recommend applying these with tweezers, but that's all I had on hand. And then I'll just take a little tiny bit of mascara and try to blend those a little bit together with my real lashes. Then I'm going to take my beloved Hoola bronzer from Benefit, and I'm just going to apply that. And again, normally I don't really use the brushes that products come with, but I kind of like this one. Oh, my little kitty cat loves to sit on my lap when I do my makeup, and she kept pawing at my legs, so I thought I'd bring her in for a minute. I have quite a few animals, but this is the one that wanted to be debuted. And I just kind of popped her on my lap while I finished getting ready. For some reason, she's just absolutely fascinated with me when I do my makeup and all my brushes and everything. So now I'm just going to slightly contour my nose with that same brush. Just a little bit. And I'm going to take this Milani blush. I don't normally use blush, but I figured for the sake of the video, I'll just use a tiny, tiny bit. So every single time I use this brush, my cat loves it, and so she wanted to get back up on my lap, and she wouldn't stop meowing unless I held her. And then she wanted to check out what I was doing. For those of you that are wondering, she's 4 months old, so she's still a baby, and she's just fascinated by everything that moves. I had to put her down. Next I'm going to use this Wet n Wild Precious Petals highlighter. I don't use a lot of highlighter, to be honest, because I do like more of a matte look, but sometimes I will put it a little bit on the tip of my nose with another Wet n Wild brush. And then just a tiny bit on my cheeks, because again, I don't want it to overpower the eyes, because that is the main focus of this look. And then the video got cut out, but I'm using Kat Von D Ludwig, I believe. I will type it in the description box, but other than that, I think that's pretty much it. So I'm going to get up, take my hair out. I do have bangs, but for this day I wanted it to be a little messy, but other than that, I think that's pretty much it, you guys. So hopefully you enjoyed it. I know it's not the most professional video in the world, but give it a thumbs up, like it, subscribe, do what you gotta do, and thank you guys so much for watching.